So if there's an emergency, like a death in the family or, some major event like that, you can get a hold of any military person by calling the
Oh,
emergency. You
yeah,
tell them
yeah.
state the person's in and their name, and they can track them down and da da da.
And then, oh,
But
okay, okay.
I didn't know they would respond to a broken heart.
So what did you tell them was the reason for your call?
I was just, first of all, 17-year-old, 18-year-old girl, I was distressed. I was like, oh my God, my boyfriend called. And I mean, I gave them the whole emotional situation that I was feeling. And if they could help me out, and he tried, and it was, please, can you help me? Can you please help me? They were like, okay. They
Oh
took
my
pity on my
God, that
situation.
is so sweet. You're listening to Real Love, Real Stories. And this, my friend, is a podcast to share love stories and also get tips on building meaningful relationships in all aspects of your life. This is your girl, Kanu. I'm the host and producer of the show, and I'm a therapist by training turned love guru. I am so thrilled that you have tuned in because without you, this wouldn't be so fun. So here is another great episode. Enjoy. This episode is brought to you by Mindful Matchmaker, a service that is matching grounded and authentic singles. If you are in British Columbia and are seriously looking for love, go to kanujacobson.com for more details. That is KANUJACOBSEN.com. Are you our next love story? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Real Love Real Stories. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today and having you guys take us down the memory lane and learning about your love story. So why don't we start with introductions?
So I'm Desiree. I'm 52 years old, United States citizen, grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and now living in Arizona.
Same for me, except the name is Sherman. No. Sherman, 52 also. We live here in Arizona now. We both grew up in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. What a beautiful, beautiful Black couple. So hashtag Black love. I love it. I love it. So, we're talking about your love story. So take us back, the furthest you want to go. How did this love story begin?
Our love story really began in 6th grade when I would literally, Sherman is a big Lego buff. He has been working and playing with Lego since he was, I don't know how old.
7
years old. And we happened to sit next to each other in 6th grade. And he would bring his Lego builds to class. And I'd be fascinated by his Lego builds and would always want to touch them and play with them. But he's very protective. And he would never allow me to handle his Lego builds. So I was a little spiteful and a little bit pissed off that I couldn't get what I wanted when I wanted it. So then I would proceed to chase him around the school ground, yelling to the top of my lungs, I know you want to be my, I would say, I know you want to be my boyfriend. Just say yes. Just say
Oh my
yes.
God, you did. That is so cute.
Stalker.
And then he would just run away from me the whole time. So we would just be chasing each other the whole time in the playground. No. And then one day, I'm gonna let you tell this part.
No, the classroom part. So yeah, so she left out some details.
Okay.
But yeah, so we used to walk to school, like she said, and we had the same group of friends. But we never really hung out together with those group of friends. Like I didn't know she knew my friends, and she didn't know that my friends were her friends also. It was at that age where boys and girls really separated and had conversations that were not about relationships and the opposite sex. But anyway, Desiree was alluding to 6th grade, where it was towards the end of the school year, and we had just come back from recess, right? And so the kids were noisy, and it was hot outside, and just everyone's all riled up. And so the teacher, Mr. Ehrlich, oh man, anyway, the teacher, was trying to get everybody to settle down and we were loud and talking and nobody was listening. So the teacher yelled out something like, you kids should be nicer to each other. You never know who you're going to wind up marrying, right?
Oh, wow.
And so Desiree was sitting next to me at the time, and she had some comment that along the lines of, I'm not going to marry this guy.
I will tell that. So when you heard that, did you have a thought about what that meant for you in the future?
It never even occurred to me. I mean, what was marriage when you're in 6th grade, right?
Right.
Well, my thought was, there is no way in hell I'm gonna marry this dweeb.
But we're done here.
Oh my God.
What are they even talking about? Like, why would she say that?
Yeah. So let's give context to the people listening.
Yeah.
6th grade. What age are we talking about?
Good question.
11.
Sherman was 11 and I think I was 12 at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, the teacher to say that to 11 and 12-year-olds, it's like, what do you know about marriage?
Exactly.
You're trying to survive, 6th grade, and that's like the last thing on your mind.
Exactly. Yeah. It was such a weird and odd comment. And it's also weird and odd that we remember it.
Yeah.
Because it could have just passed us by.
Right.
But it landed somehow. And I think our next encounter following that incident was that we got to travel to upstate New York to a place called Poconos. And they would take all the inner city kids out for an outdoor adventure, and we'd stay for the weekends.
Yeah, it was our senior trip, 6th grade senior trip.
6th grade senior trip.
Oh.
And so they had it kind of themed like there's some like American version of square dancing built into the into the experience. And so there was a point where the boys had to ask the girls to dance. And I definitely didn't find myself to be the prettiest girl in class. Let's just say that. So I didn't have a lot of faith that any of the really cute boys were going to ask me to dance. So I just kind of resigned myself to like the kid who really nobody else wanted to dance with would ask me to dance.
Oh, that's
I know. So I just
sad.
But I just sat there and watched. And then I was really surprised because
I came over and asked her if she wanted to dance.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was so I'm not a big dancer. Never was like a dancing kind of person. And I actually wasn't supposed to go on the senior trip. It cost, I don't know, $50 or whatever it was. And my family just didn't have that money, right? So the day of the trip, I still showed up to school, but I think I was like one of the only kids not going. And so the principal called my mom and, she was like, oh, we got a trip leaving today and he's the only one not going. And, just get him ready and bring his stuff and, and he can go.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So last minute, we're scrambling to get all the stuff that you normally spend weeks preparing, the sheets, the clothing, all of that stuff. And so the bus is waiting for me when I get back to school, because I had to go home, gather up all my stuff with my mom, and then head back to school. So everybody was on the bus just waiting for me to get there. So it was kind of lucky I actually made it on the trip. And then spending several days learning how to square dance, right? Being from Brooklyn, that's not what I thought I was signing up for. And it wasn't the experience that I thought I was going to get. But, I got to hang out with my friends and, there was a lake and all that stuff. So it was cool. And so it was like the culmination, it was like the ceremony at the end, right? They have the square dancing to this wonderful music that we love.
Hashtag he's joking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were listening to the Commodores at the time.
Yeah, Rapper's Delight, that kind
Lionel
of stuff.
Richie.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds amazing to me, but I guess not for that young in age, right?
No, square dancing music was not a thing. So, I saw that she was available and standing there, and so I got the nerve to walk over and ask her to dance with me. And,
oh my God!
She said yes. She said yes.
I was very surprised surprised. I actually didn't think he really liked me. So that's I was looking at him like, you want to dance with me?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
It was really sweet.
Yeah. And so the dance didn't go well. It sounds like we're leading up to this thing, and it was a beautiful dance, and it didn't go well. From the standpoint of in the middle of it, she had an asthma attack.
Oh no.
And she started coughing, and she needed to go outside, and so we had to stop dancing. And so I think I went outside to check on you to see how you were doing,
which was so sweet.
Yeah.
And so I think after that we probably just sat down and just talked and hung out or whatever. Yeah. Had punch and chips or whatever, whatever Levy girls do.
Oh my God, that is so sweet. And for your asthma attack to come right then when you're like, finally somebody asked me out to dance, and then, but how sweet to like actually follow her outside and check on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that, like I was saying, that was our senior trip, right? So we graduated elementary school, probably about a week after that.
Oh, okay.
And so after elementary school in New York, there's intermediate school, right? And that's for grades 7 and 8. And so we wound up going to this school that wasn't close to our house, right? There was a school right across.
The both of you did?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a intermediate school that was right across the street between both of us, right? The school was basically in the middle of where I lived and where she lived.
Mm-hmm.
But neither one of us wanted to go to that school. It was not a good school. And so we got accepted to the school that was like on the other side of Brooklyn. And so I didn't know she went to that school, right? We didn't stay in touch after the Poconos. Nobody had cell phones. I didn't get her phone number or anything like that, right? So it was just, on to middle school. I saw her at graduation.
Oh, so you went the whole time and up until graduation and still didn't know that both of you were at the same school?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the school did a graduation at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, which is this big, huge auditorium. And so I saw her sitting in the audience in the auditorium, and I think I may have went over and said, hi, what are you doing here? And she's like, I go to the school. I said, no way, I go to the school.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, how did we go 2 years without seeing each other? And
was it a big school? I mean, like different schedules, or what was going on there?
Well, it was a big school. So they had elementary kids in there, so like 10-year-olds through 14-year-olds. And it was divided by gifted and talented. So I would say Sherman was gifted. So he was in accelerated academic classes. And I was talented, and I was in all of the arts and dance and music classes.
Okay, so different.
And never shall the two paths cross. Gifted, talented. It can't be both, apparently.
I mean, clearly, you missed each other for 2 years.
So that's why we never saw each other.
Yeah.
This school need to take a look at their curriculum and change it a little bit, because there's so many love connections that are being missed because of this type of separation.
Right. Yeah. So
that's awesome. So she's sitting in the audience at graduation, and you're surprised. You're like, at this point, are you thinking, are you happy? Oh my God, I found her again. Like, what's going on there?
Well, I was surprised, right? It was more surprising than anything, because there's a lot going on. It's graduation, and
right.
Our parents are there. So I was still super shy. So I didn't ask her for a phone number or anything like that. Or the big thing after graduation is where you're going to go eat afterwards, right? And we were going to juniors, and I think you went to.
And we went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Me and my family went somewhere else.
And so we didn't make a connection at that point. We
You missed each other again?
Again. Yep.
Oh no.
Right too. She's like, I thought the story was over. No.
I'm like, you found each other, and like, hearts flying and everything.
He went to a very technical high school. Sherman's had a proficiency for computer programming early 80s. And so that's where he went to school, a lot of science and math. And then I went to a Catholic high school downtown Brooklyn called Bishop Loughlin Memorial High School. and nothing too significant about it academically. It was just a safe environment to go to high school at the time, and they had some creative programs there. So for one summer, our good friends, again, we didn't know we had the same friends, but my girlfriends, more or less, when I was 16, they had started to kind of go around the neighborhood visiting old friends from elementary school. And they would go by Sherman's house. Now, Sherman's first formal name is Gerald, so they would call him Gerald. So he was like, oh, every time we go by his house, he always asks about you. I was like, really?
Oh.
That is, we didn't talk, we didn't hang out, we weren't friends. I just would torture him. And that was just kind of my thing. It was kind of like a tomboy, chasing around boys and showing them who's the boss. So I felt like that was my job in elementary school. And so I was always surprised every time my friends would see me and tell me that they went by, he would ask for me. Again, we never saw each other, different modes of transportation, different parts of the city. Yeah. So then the summer before our senior year of high school.
Yeah,
okay.
So my best friend, when we were, that age, his name was Uko. His real name was Jose. Everybody called him Uko. And he lived like around the block from me, right? And, we're boys, so we would hang out outside all the time, riding our bikes and all of that. And during this entire time, Desiree would hang out with Uko's sister, Cookie. And so, they would hang out at either Desiree's house or inside the house. And I never once saw Desiree over there or knew that she knew them or anything like that.
Oh my
God. This is like my best friend. He's like my brother, right?
So many like.
I mean, he would sleep at my house, all weekend, and I would eat at his house. And, he was basically my brother when I was growing up. And I had no idea that his sister hung out with Desiree all the time. And she knew like my other friends that I played football with. And it was just a classic miss. Mm-hmm. And we would find out years later, that there was this group of friends that all knew each other. Like one of my other really good friends, they used to go to like daycare together or something, or after school care. Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing how we missed each other so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, probably literally in the same house, the same day, just at different times. Yeah. I mean, he would probably be there, and then he would leave, and then me and my friend be back. It was very, very interesting. Yeah. Wow. So can I go to the next part? Okay, yeah. So our summer before our senior year of high school.
So we're 17.
Yeah, I think 17. We're 17. And I was taking the train to get home back and forth, and Sherman was too. And I was on my way on a date, and he was on his way home. I was going out on a date, and he was on his way home from work. And we ran into each other on the sidewalk. And I was like, oh my God, Gerald, it's so good to see you. And he had the same kind of excitement when he saw me. He's like, oh, it's so good to see you. So at that moment, we shared phone numbers.
Yes.
Oh, finally.
Finally.
Yeah. So when we said like we should get together and just catch up and talk and just start to hang out, be friends. So I think he waited a while because I was kind of waiting for him to call me. I didn't want to look too eager to hang out with him. And I was dating another guy at the time. So it was, whatever.
I think I only waited like a week.
Yeah, he waited a week.
Oh man, when you like somebody, a week can be like a year.
Right?
Yeah. I think I called you like the following weekend.
Yes.
Because like, you're going out on a date.
Oh, so you had shared with him that you're going on a date?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'm gonna give this time to like this date to like manifest into like a real thing or like not, so that when I call, she'll know exactly what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think I called you the following Friday or something, mm-hmm. and decided I was going to come by your house. And it was funny. I didn't realize you lived in the same building as one of my really good friends, but yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think I came over after work or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came over after work the following Friday. And
so don't tell me that you used to hang out in the same building and you didn't know she was what?
I used to play football right outside her building all the time.
Oh my God, how did you not see each other?
Every Sunday. I don't know.
Just different directions.
Yep, looking different ways. It's weird. weird.
Yeah.
So if you guys had met like many, 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 many years later, this would make me so sad. But I know that you connected within a few years. So that just, I know there's a happy ending to this. Because imagine having those missed connections and then it's like 30 years later, 40 years later, now you're like, oh, okay, let's date, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Lots of reasons. But yeah, he came over. And I got to tell you, like, just full transparency, we lived in the ghetto. Like, it was hard knocks, a lot of violence happening in the 80s. So my mom is a single parent raising 3 children in a very small apartment. And kids in that environment, we were tough kids. We would tease each other and really take each other to task just because we didn't know what to do with our emotions
Or time.
or our time. So when he came over, I had this little plot with my youngest sister, because that was the only way I could handle my emotions. I was like, "Oh, he's coming." So we lived in public housing in this community. There's 7-story apartment buildings, several of them, and I lived on the 7th floor. So I was like, let's show him what it's like to come to the projects, and let's pretend like we're gonna rob him. She's like, what?
Oh my God.
Like, this is a real story, y'all. We're not sugarcoating nothing. So he got to the apartment. I was like, hey, Gerald, how's it going? And he's, we talked for a little bit. I was like, well, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you what it's like to be here. It's tough. He was like, what are you talking about? So
and it's not like I lived far away. I lived like 2 blocks away, right? So whatever.
But he lived in a house. So living in a house meant you had more financial stability in my mind, right? So we staged his robbery.
Oh my God.
I tied his hands behind his back with a leather belt. Now listen, he's a strong kid.
You tackled him and
Yep.
Oh my God.
So this is his introduction to Desiree. So
I should have ran.
Hey, he's a strong guy. He could have fought back, but I had this leather belt. I tied his hands behind his back. And I took a picture of him like this.
I want to see where it's going to go. I want to see where it's going to go.
I told my little sister, grab his wallet and run.
And this is in her apartment.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So he's laughing the whole time. Like,
oh, so you didn't take it serious?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because I was thinking you're like mortified. Like I'm shocked by somebody.
No, I'm laughing. I'm laughing my butt off.
Because it was a joke, but he knew it was a joke. Yeah. And it wasn't real serious, but so it was like, we're not airing this.
I was like, oh my God, did you just get mortified that I'm being robbed by someone I'm trying to go on a date?
No, it was inside of her. I was already inside her apartment and stuff, and I knew she was kind of looking around. And her sister is like, I don't know, 12.
Right.
So I'm like, it's like, what kind of shenanigans is she up to, right? And I was like, I'll play along. I'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And I took a picture just to memorialize the moment. Again, I was the kind of girl who's like, I'm going to show the boys that I'm in charge. So I had to show that I had some authority. It was fake, right? It's a fake authority. I was telling myself lies. But I was like, well, I don't know if he's ever going to come back because that was crazy.
Yep.
So I'm like, if I can break this thing, I'm going to try to break it early.
Let's just sabotage it.
Yeah, and like if he doesn't come back, I get it. Like, who would want to come back to that?
So this is the first date, essentially.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have interviewed a lot of couples on my show. This by far now is. Oh my God! I had a woman hunting for rats in some field in some country on a first date, but never anyone fake robbing. This is like the first. I love it.
I have to share the photo with her.
Oh yeah,
please.
The photo canoe.
Please.
And so then after that, I don't know what happened. What do you remember?
Well, you eventually untied me.
Right.
Eventually. And I think I went home after that, right? And it's like, well, that's different.
So you didn't go to the movies or anything?
No. So I was going over there after work, right? And I got up
Oh,
for
okay.
8 o'clock. So it was kind of late already. It was probably like
Ah.
8 o'clock.
Mhm.
And it was just kind of my first time just kind of hanging out, just to, to get to know her since we live so close. And we started speaking a lot on the phone after that.
Mm.
And started seeing each other. I would stop by her house, and I think you would stop by my house every now and then. Not that we knew where each other lived at.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so she obviously had a boyfriend, had a boyfriend. And to me, that wasn't really that big of a concern, right? I mean, she was the girl that I liked, so.
I mean, how many boys is she gonna fake rob, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I felt really comfortable to be really
with abusing me that way.
No, to play such a big prank. That's what I'll call it.
A prank. We'll call it a big prank. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't go out on a date for months, right?
Mm-hmm. So we started hanging out in summer.
Yeah, it's September, August, and I think we went out for our first date in like October, November. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was hard for Desiree,
right?
Because she had a boyfriend and she was going out on a date with me. We went to Manhattan and we went out to dinner, Hamburger Harry's. And,
place, yeah.
Nice. I can imagine Manhattan being like, that was like, you stepped it up, like several notches to like take her out on a date.
Yeah, so it was a fun date.
It was. Our meal was so this is pre-checking ID to prove that you're legal to drink alcohol. But he looked a little bit older when he was 18 because he had facial hair. So people kind of assumed he was early 20s. So we went to a place called Hamburger Harry's and we got burgers with guacamole, which neither one of us had any idea what that was.
No idea. Never heard of guacamole before that. Never. And champagne.
And champagne.
Oh wow, you really mixed it up.
Yeah. Well, I was 17.
You were 17.
So I was 17, right? I didn't know what to order at a restaurant. It's my first. So I was like, yeah. And so it was funny. It was a special. Yeah, and the burger showed up, and I opened it up and look at this green stuff. I was like, nope. No idea what it was.
That's so funny. Anyway.
Wow.
So we went back to my job because I worked in the city at the time I was a messenger and I also did dispatching, a phone operator at nighttime. And so we went back to the office where I worked at, and it was late, so there was nobody there, and I had a key. And so we went there, we were talking, and we had our first kiss.
Oh my God.
Again, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Uh-oh.
So, like, when is this thing gonna be over?
So she
Can I tell?
Yeah, you tell.
All right, so I was conflicted, right? I was having so much fun hanging out with Sherman. We would laugh, tell stories, and really talk about our dreams and our visions, what we wanted for our life.
At 17.
At 17, yeah. And we would have deep conversations. And I was dating this guy just because it was convenient. I didn't feel in love with him.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. So when I went on this date with Sherman and he kissed me, I started crying. I'm like, oh my God, no. So I started crying immediately. And he's like, that is not the reaction I was hoping for.
Nope.
So Desiree, let's just pause for a second.
Yeah.
The guy asks you out to dance. You have an asthma attack. The guy comes over on your first date. You like rob him, right? Yeah. And now he kisses you and you cry. And Sherman, I mean, kudos to you because you were like,
no, you know what? You're right. I'm done. I never thought of it that way. I'm out of here.
Yep.
Oh wow. So, okay, you were conflicted thinking I'm in this relationship. I'm not in love with him, but I like this guy. And so, yeah, I can see how that can happen.
Yeah.
I could.
So I had to ask myself some questions because I didn't want to be dating two guys at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't a style of relationship that I understood and was comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to get honest with myself about who I really wanted to spend my time with. And
you won.
Sherman won. He was also like, I had to take the bus to the other guy's house. So
I was more convenient. I was more convenient. Convenient.
But we just had so much fun together and such a bond, and we could just really talk and share how we were feeling with each other in a really beautiful way. So we decided to start dating. Finally.
I love that.
The fall of November 1987.
It took some guacamole and burgers and champagne.
And some tears.
And some tears to get you here.
Yeah. So
you didn't say though. Did you scrape the guacamole off the burger? Like what did you do with it?
Yeah,
okay.
I just scraped it onto the plate. I was like, I'm not eating that green stuff. I don't know what that is.
I ate it. I liked it. I wasn't sure what it was. I didn't know what an avocado was. It was not part of our daily diet.
Nope.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I grew up with a big avocado in the backyard. So, and we didn't make a guacamole with them, but yeah, that's awesome. So you date, and then, so how long did you date before you decided to get the proposal going?
Yeah, so that was 18, so 2 years roughly, 2 years. And you were going to college, and I was going to school off and on. I was unmotivated by school. And so I decided to join the military when I was 20. And I went to basic training, and Desiree came out for my graduation in basic training. And my training base that I was going to be at for 10 months was in Denver, Colorado. And Desiree came out for her birthday.
Yes. Pause. We're going to pause there for a second.
Okay.
Because as we were dating, like it was a choice Sherman made for his own future goals to join the military. And, we had a conversation. And I said, when he joined, he didn't talk to me about it. He decided he knew he needed to do that for himself, and he didn't want to be swayed away from that idea. So I just said, I support you, whatever you need to do. I understand that living in this area and environment is really tough, and you want to give yourself opportunities. So we decided to still date while he was in the military, but there was no guarantees that we were going to have a future outside of our dating life.
Right.
But when he was gone, I had a little bit of like such heartache because I couldn't connect or talk to him for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That was the first time that we hadn't talked every day since we had been friends.
Yeah.
So I had a breakdown, and I called. I called him during basic training, which is like a major no-no. He wasn't supposed to take any phone calls from anybody outside of his training experience.
Because I had to go through like the commander, then I had to go to like this operator, then they had to get me out of the basic training flight. It was like a whole big ordeal to take a phone call.
And your phone call went through?
Yeah, I called American Red Cross because I feel like I had an emergency.
Desiree, oh my God.
I had an emergency. My heart was sad, and what happened was, I know what happened. He had an opportunity to call around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I missed the call. Because I wasn't home. And then I was like, I couldn't even handle that I missed the opportunity to speak to him. So then I just researched the number. I don't know how I got the number. My mom wrote it down or something. And then I called American Red Cross. And I'm like, no, he tried. He could call. I'm calling back.
So wait, how does the American Red Cross then? Like, explain that part.
They were the kind of like the switchboard that we're allowed to use in order to make calls out. And then if I needed to have emergency call in, that was my way in.
Okay.
So if there's an emergency, like a death in the family or, some major event like that, you can get a hold of any military person by calling the American Red Cross.
Yeah.
You tell them state the person's in and their name, and they can track them down and blah, blah, blah.
And then, okay.
I didn't know they would respond to a broken heart.
So what did you tell them was the reason for your call?
I was just, first of all, 17-year-old, 18-year-old girl, I was distressed. I was like, oh my God. my boyfriend called. And I mean, I gave them the whole emotional situation that I was feeling, and if they could help me out. And he tried, and it was, please, can you help me? Can you please help me?
Oh.
They were like, okay. They took pity on my situation.
That is so sweet.
Mm-hmm. So after I talked to him, then I decided, because then he got to call, we wrote each other letters the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out his graduation was coming up and his family couldn't be there to celebrate his graduation. So I decided that I was going to go on my own. I had never flown by myself anywhere. So I decided I was going to go to his graduation in Texas, San Antonio. And I think I want to say I surprised you, because I don't know if you knew or you knew.
I think I knew.
Okay.
Yeah. I did know you were coming.
Oh, that is the sweetest thing.
Yeah. So then after that, we decided we wanted to keep this relationship going. And he found out he was going to Denver, Colorado for his technical training. And so that was
January.
That was January
2020 of 2000.
No, 1990.
Yeah, 1990. Yeah, that's right. Time flies. 1990. Wow.
And so before he started his training, he had some time off. So I flew out there to visit him, and it was around my birthday at that same time. So now you can pick up.
Yeah, so we we did some touristy things and hung out for the weekend, and we were staying in a hotel off the base. And so the day she was supposed to fly back, it was Super Bowl Sunday. But I had one surprise for her. I proposed on her birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Got down on a knee before I had to take it to the airport. But I went and I think I got a ring. Yeah, I got a ring before you got there, and proposed at the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And she said yes, and then I had to get her to the airport.
I was surprised. I was not expecting it at all. I was like, oh my God. That's what I kept saying. Oh my God.
Yeah, she didn't say yes. She just kept saying, oh my God. She didn't say
before
yes.
She said yes. You know what, Desiree? At this point, I was expecting, like, did you get so excited? Maybe you threw up because you cried.
Yeah.
You've done this.
And take it to the hospital, right?
That's the next thing.
Oh yeah, no, this time I was able to keep it together.
Yeah,
I love that. So okay, you got married. What year did you get married?
That was 99. 90. I'm sorry, 1990.
No, 91. It was in 91.
91. Yeah, it was about 8 months after I proposed, 6 months after I proposed.
Yeah, so we got married June 1991.
Yep.
June 29th.
You've been together 31 years.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think keeps your relationship fun? Because I can tell just by this conversation, what keeps it fun and going and strong?
Well, Desiree is truly my best friend, and I can truly be myself, unfiltered self around her. Just can be myself. Like, funny. We always have weird, funny things going on. If there was a video camera in our house, some of the things people would see that are just hilarious, that we just do just day in and day out. I'm not going to mention Harry.
You're not going to mention what?
Just funny things that happen. I mean, we have fun all the time. I mean, yeah. And we have a common background. And, we both respect and love each other.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And I think the other part is knowing that we are together because we make a choice to be together every day is not guaranteed, or because we're married, we have to stay together.
Yeah.
We have real conversations, sometimes really hard conversations. But the thing is that one of the things my grandmother said to us when we first started dating was that the key to a successful relationship is communication. It isn't the easy communication. that makes us strong together. It's the hard conversations that make us strong together, because we have to tap into vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be authentic to ourselves, and then figure out how we can navigate these situations in our life that come up, being our authentic selves, and also talking to each other and being vulnerable about how we feel and where we think, where we stand. And I think it was built on a foundation of friendship. And I'm really grateful that we had the time to be friends and get to know each other as friends.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, we want the best for each other as people, as friends. And then we also happen to be married.
We tried to stay just friends, but that didn't work.
It didn't work out.
He wrote this whole guidelines on how to be friends.
When I was dating the other guy, we have rules.
Are you serious?
She wrote them.
What were some things on there?
I think you still have it.
I do have it. Like
I wouldn't come over past a certain time,
right?
And we wouldn't spend so many hours together, more in a week, and all of these limited phone calls to like 30 minutes, and they would be like 4-hour phone calls.
Oh my gosh, Desiree, that is so funny. But I mean, way to respect the relationship you were in, though.
Yeah,
but
I didn't respect it.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't right there.
You were just prolonging the inevitable, right? Like, just like, yeah. That's awesome. So I love this. I love that your relationship is very friendship, like that's your foundation. But I always love to ask my couples that I interviewed this question. So what do you love? One or two things that you absolutely love about each other?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'll let you go first.
Okay. For me, it's easy. Her smile. She's a light.
Oh.
She just is. She makes me happy just seeing her smile. She lightens up a room, even if I'm not in there. When people talk about her, she just has this light that illuminates from her, and she brings people happiness. Just even if they're feeling bad, seeing her, they know they can talk to her and reveal things to her, and she makes it easy to open up.
That's so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna cry.
Again.
Oh, you have me crying over here.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, boo. Oh man, what so much I love about Sherman. I think I was attracted to his intellect first. He's so smart, and he's skilled and gifted in all kinds of ways. And it just amazes me the things that he just innately knows how to do. So he's taught me how to trust my own intellect. And he lets me continue to grow organically as I want to grow as a human being, which may be different from what he values. So he pushes me in this really beautiful way that allows me to expand and be more of who I am. And his love is jovial and generous and intimate, and his love language is quality time. And so we often try to find however much time we can spend together, just being together. And I think that has really helped solidify our relationship quite a bit.
Oh.
And she's really sexy.
Oh, there you go. That's the cherry on top.
Or on the side, or wherever we put the cherry.
I'm like, okay.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So, you mentioned, Sherman, when you talk about Desiree and lighting up a room, and I don't know, Desiree, if I shared about the reason why my business is called Kendall Consulting, is that my parents, may they both rest in peace, way back when my dad first met my mom, she said she just lit up a room. And he said those same words, like at that time, she would light up a room, every room she walked in. So at that time in Zimbabwe, the only way to light up a room, literally to see, was to use a candle. So his term of endearment for my mom was his candle. And so that's why I named my business Kendall Consulting. Not because I make candles, but just because of that. So I love that. And I think it's such a beautiful compliment, right? When you are with the person who has that much energy that they light up a room. So yeah. So for fun, let's do the flip side of that. So what is what are one or two things that you're like, you drive me crazy?
Oh, that's easy too.
You want to go first?
So you can't see, but there are about 2,000 books around us. So it doesn't drive me crazy, but it's very unlike me. She'll sit on the couch with like 4 books. It's like, how can you read 4 books at one time? Who does that?
Referencing, right?
I don't get it. 1 book is all you need. You can only read 1 thing at a time. But in all honesty, it's not something that bugs me, but I like to be very more structured, more rigid when it comes to things, and her approach is a lot more fluid. So she's taught me to be that way, but like some of the education that she has acquired over the years, I'm still mystified at some of the things that she does and how she can do them. And I still think she's a magician at times. I think she can do magic. She can heal in ways that I don't understand. It doesn't frustrate me or anything like that. I just find it amazing that some of the things that she does. I guess it was supposed to be a negative and I turned it to positive, but it's still confusing as hell, some of the things she does. And how she does them.
And by the way, it doesn't have to be a negative, because you can just be your thing. So
yeah. You got anything else? All right.
Should I leave?
No, you already know it. So for me, Sherman likes to wake up, I don't know, as early as he possibly can every day. If it was 3:30 a.m., great. 4:30, it's a little bit late. 5:30, forget it. His day is like over. So
I'm an early riser.
I am a slow waking up person. So I'll wake up, I don't have a lot of conversation first thing in the morning, or my light isn't quite as bright early in the morning. So I now have to temper myself because we have an area where it's kind of closed off from the rest of the house. It's called our lounge. There's a TV out there, there's a desk. And so Sherman will often do hobby shop stuff out there. But before I go out there, I have to mentally and physically get myself ready for some bouncy energy. And he's like, "Good morning." And I was like, "You get the hell out of my face with all that, because I can't handle it."
I have lots and lots of energy all the time.
Oh my goodness gracious. So now we have a joke about it. So he'll see me, he's like, and then he'll like calm down. He's like, "Good morning." He'll say,
"Are you ready for this? You ready for me to bring it?"
I'm like, "No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready."
Wow.
So, yeah, it used to drive me nuts because I was like, I can't handle it. I can't.
And then you finally told me about it.
And I finally told him, like, "Babe, it's too much. I'm sorry. I love you, but I can't handle all of the bouncy."
I wake up and I'm just like wide awake, ready to go. Start the day.
There you go. So you got to tell us what your secrets are. Some of us, I'm an early riser too, but some days I'm just like pulling myself off of bed because I'm just so exhausted. Like this morning, literally it took a miracle to get me out of bed. But yeah, that's awesome, and I love that. So thank you for sharing that part.
Yes.
Yeah. So this part I want to talk about, if they are okay. So think about a single person maybe, and also think about a couple. I would like to hear from both of you. What advice would you give to a single person maybe that's like struggling to really find a partner like how you two are? Somebody who, like how you described it, was so beautiful. And I know that a lot of single people want to have that kind of a relationship. What advice would you give that person? And also maybe what advice would you give a couple to like keep their relationship fire going?
Actually, for me, it's the same for both. I think in a relationship, you have to fully commit to the person you're with and make choices that are right for that relationship. Sometimes it seems like people make choices in their relationship to either appease others or make other people happy that are not part of that relationship, right? You shouldn't ignore the people around you and your friends and your support group, but yeah, when you're in a relationship, you need to be all in, and you need to make decisions and choices that are going to nurture that relationship. They may not be popular with the people around you or others, but if that is truly important to you, it's very important to make decisions that are going to reinforce that relationship you want.
That's beautiful to say. Thank you.
For me, especially for women and people who identify as women, one of the things I did the day I got married was I wrote myself a letter with a commitment that I wasn't going to lose who I was in a relationship. Because oftentimes, as either the childbearer or someone who is supporting, who's been socialized to be a supporting figure in the relationship, I I knew I didn't want to kill my spirit and my fire by just being of service to others, and letting my dreams and desires kind of die off by the wayside. Wow. So I knew that could happen in a relationship. I didn't have any direct experience per se because my mom was a single mom, but that was just something that came through for me. And that's something I tried to stay committed to as much as I could. I had to compromise when we have children. We have 2 children, 2 beautiful boys, 23 and 16, that we're so proud of and love so much. But I had to still fight for me, even as a parent and as a mother, to make time for myself, which then allowed me to still kind of be that light that I naturally am. Because if I allowed that to die, then that would just change the dynamics of everybody I related to and for myself.
Yeah.
And then for couples, so that's, for a single person, honoring yourself in relationship. And then for couples, my advice would be, I think vulnerability is a powerhouse and super important. Doesn't mean that you have to make yourself vulnerable in a way that is harmful, by getting in touch with how you're feeling and being able to share that some way, whether it's in writing or verbally, because if we can't be authentic and vulnerable with how we're feeling, and if we can't share that with our partner or partners, however the relationship is designed, that intimacy and connection has a hard time of building a strong pathway between 2 people. So vulnerability, I think, is really important.
Wow.
You
That
have
is
to be robbed on the first date.
Stop it.
That's part of it. That's part of it. Come on.
It was a prank. It was a prank.
gosh, that is so
So silly.
I want my wallet back. That's why I'm sticking around. I want my money back.
Yeah. It's accrued interest over the years.
Yeah. It's like $42 million now.
But Desiree, you're so deep though. Like you had relationship things, what to do and what not to do when you guys were friends. Like you wrote down a whole list, and then you wrote a letter to yourself. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even think to do that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I love that. That's why you're in the space of healing, right? Like helping people, whether it's healing through art or what you do, but like that's like what your core, it seems like, that's who you are. So that's beautiful. Yeah. So you guys, this has been so, I often do not, I cry because somebody said something sad, but not cry because I was laughing so much on an interview. This was such a great interview that is definitely going in the very top, one of the top ones, definitely for me. So thank you. I so appreciate you spending time and sharing your story. The beauty about this platform is that you never know. Like I said, we have different countries where people are listening to a story, and and hopefully somebody will be inspired by your story. I definitely have been inspired and laughed so hard. This was so beautiful. But yeah, is there any way that you would like people to connect with you? Whether it's individual or maybe if something joined, like what do you want to share with the audience if somebody wants to connect with you?
I would direct them to my website. I'm a transformational arts coach, and energy healing practitioner. I do a lot of things. And So anyway, if people want to connect with me and learn more about what I'm doing, they can go to my website. It's sacredcircleinstitute.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's spelled SACREDINSTITUTE.com.
Perfect. And
sometimes it helps to spell.
Yes.
Yeah, I will put that in the show notes as well so that it'll be easy for people to just click. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some list of resources on that site. It talks a little bit about how I hold space for people, upcoming events and workshops and trainings that I have scheduled out so far.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so just check it out and reach out however, if you feel called to reach out, I'm happy to connect.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Sherman?
If you want to connect with me, connect with Desiree and she'll connect me to you.
Actually, Sherman didn't say he has a store on eBay. Can I talk about that?
Yeah.
It's a Lego. Actually, he resells Lego.
Oh, so you carried on your passion from way back then.
Yeah, it died off for 30 years or so, but yeah, it's been rekindled. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
He does really well. What's the name of your eBay store?
I think it's Sherman Lego World. I'll have to send it to you.
Okay, yeah, please send it, and I'll include that also in the show notes so that people can. So this is where you're selling your Legos, or?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, fun.
Yeah, so it's pieces and sets, and he has some rare sets on there that he sells.
And Desiree helps, and so does my son.
Oh, okay.
They do most of the work.
That is not.
The
lion's share.
They do most of the work.
He does the lion's share.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's a fun site to check out if people like Lego and just want to see what he has on there. Check it out.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I am so grateful and loved every bit of your story. And yeah, I am, I don't know who said you love quality time. This is definitely quality time with me. So I so appreciate that. And again, thank you for sharing your love story, and many blessings to you on your love journey. And may you continue to inspire people with your story and in the respective things that you do. So much love.
Thank you so much, Manu. Thanks for your time and the questions. It was great. It was so much fun.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Look at you, my friend. You made it all the way to the end. I'm so grateful. So the fact that you did make it all the way to the end, that means you liked this episode. So go ahead and be a hero. Send it to 3 people. And then go to iTunes where you can rate and review this podcast.